recording to check audio, make sure everything is good.
Where are you at?
Is it the glare and stuff?
It's not glare at all. I'm just trying to get some light to reflect back on your
Oh,
face. But this is the real ghetto one because
Hey y'all, I'm Kayla. We're in the painting studio at Frostburg State University, and this is what the we doing.
Hey, let's get it. Running up, sitting on lot, probably fucked the whole summer up. Running up, shouting her body, so I had to pump her up. Running up, she wanna fuss or deliver a lumber truck. Running up, ayy, running up, ayy.
What's up, YouTube? This is Third IT, and you are tuned into the 5th episode of What the Are You Doing? Today, I pulled up to the painting studio here at Frostburg State to holler at K.I.D to talk about her art. I also had Sav with me, man. Sav was able to pull up, chop it up with us. She even took some pictures. So that explains the fire thumbnail that even made you click this video. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and let's see what the she doing. So for this portion of the interview, you basically have a 30-second pitch where you're promoting yourself, your work, how you look at yourself as a creative, for people who are not familiar with the channel and with you in general.
So my name is K.I.D, also known as K.I.D. I'm a painter from Baltimore, Maryland, and a lot of my work is about feminist activism and white misogyny. I'm also a dancer. I do henna designs. I've been painting for a long time, since like 16. I do conceptual work, sculpture, graphic design, and I'm pretty much versatile. My main Instagram is OhSoKay, OhSoKay, and then my art page is K.I.D Exhibit.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, so for the first part of the interview, I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions that I have myself. The first question I wanna ask is like, can you kind of tell us where we at right now?
So we're in the painting studio of Frostburg State University. This is where all the magic happens, at least for me. I took my intro painting class here, and then I'm also taking advanced painting here.
Okay, so you pretty much answered kind of the second part of it. I was gonna ask like, why is this room so significant to you, or what is the significance to this room?
This is where I basically like started making bigger pieces and stuff. I don't have my own studio yet, but I spend a lot of time in here.
How often are you in here? Like, how long can you be in here?
I mean, other than classes, you can be in here during the weekends and stuff, but I spend like 3 days out the week in here, maybe like 8 hours at a time.
Okay, that's pretty tough. So in general, how important is it for you to express yourself through your art as a creative?
It's very important because I kind of use it as a catharsis and a way for me to express my voice, like with me being more on the introvert side. Art gives me a window to kind of say what I want to say just through paintings and drawings and stuff like that.
Okay, was it anything that you did before the paintings that would get you there?
Most likely drawing.
Okay.
I didn't really start painting until high school, and then it kind of became my main muse to keep going with that.
Okay. On average, how long or how quick is a painting session? Like, what is your longest time that you spent? What was the shortest time?
A longest time would probably be like a month. Shortest time would probably be like an hour or two. The short times are when I'm doing practice work, and then long times, or if I'm doing big pieces like this, it may take me a while, especially if I'm trying something new or experimenting with a new technique.
Okay, so does time like play an important factor on how like precise your work ends up?
I feel like it does. Like some paintings you can rush, it can turn out good. But if you're a perfectionist on detail like how I am, it takes me a much longer time, and it'll all be worth it in the end.
Okay. What are some other ways? I know you said drawing, but like, do you have any other ways that you create artworks?
Other than painting and drawing, that's my main path. I've tried sculpture, I've tried wooden sculpture, and maybe graphic design sometimes.
Okay. How do these workings connect to each other, and also how do they connect to you, like the different forms? How do they connect to each other first, and then like how do all of them connect to you personally in a sense?
So how they connect as far as like the work I make I usually make a lot of social justice themes and stuff like that. Stuff about Black feminism, and for example, I paint about this stuff, but if I'm doing like a sculpture piece, I made a chair, and it was like no misogynists allowed. So that was about white misogyny, which is a theme that I use in like each medium and stuff like that. So that's how they kind of connect. It's just a different medium that I'm using. And how it connects to me is it basically is like the same thing, a catharsis for me to express myself, just in different forms, except for painting.
Okay. When did you, matter of fact, before I even ask you that, if you could describe yourself and your work in one word, what would that word be?
Probably revolutionary, because I feel like it's very out of the box. Not to like toot my own horn, but you don't really see a whole bunch of Black female artists making art about Black women. So I go here, my major's art, and I take art history classes, and we usually learn about, you know, like notorious famous artists and stuff.
Right.
Even if they're women, they're white women. I've never really seen a Black female artist be notorious for what she does, so that's what I'm trying to be, so I'm trying to be revolutionary in that.
Okay, so when did you know yourself that you were a revolutionary?
When I realized that there wasn't a lot of work for me to gain inspiration from. Like I was looking for kind of like an idol to like look up to, like, oh, she did that, maybe I'll do that too. But when I realized that there was really nobody out there like that, I was like, why don't I just be my own idol and start, you know, this new thing that's nobody has been doing before.
Okay, so what makes your art different in your opinion?
I think because I paint about a lot of things that are like degraded or called mortifying and stuff, like Black female nude, or things about sexual assault and biblical representations, or like the castration of the white man. Like it represents like main and popular themes in society that we struggle with, but in forms that people wouldn't really want to see. Like nobody would want to see a white man castrating himself, or a Black naked female. So I kind of force people to really look at those issues in ways that are more authentic.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, could you describe some of the paintings?
Yeah, so this one on the farthest right is a self-portrait of myself. It's about self-discovery, especially with me being a Black woman and like loving my body and everything. And then the one next to it is called Kill the Ego, and that is about tackling misogyny, but specifically white misogyny. That's like the main issue of like sexual assault and disrespect of women and things like that. And the one right here is called Black Woman. That is about Black women really rebelling society and then finding a comfortable place in themselves. This one is a biblical representation of Incubus, which is a demon, a sex demon, and it tackles the issue of sexual assault and sex violence. And then this one is another piece about white misogyny, but specifically white supremacy. So he has a bondage mask, which takes away his power, identity, and stuff like that. So it kind of just like demasculizes him as a white man.
Okay. Which one of these so far would you say is your best one?
I would probably say this one. I think it definitely matches the themes that I usually go for, which is making art through the lens of a Black woman's eyes. So I think that's a great representation of myself and other Black women as well.
Okay, so did that one take the longest too, or which one of these took the longest?
This one probably took the longest. I did a technique called Kasai, and that's when you paint it in black and white first, and then you do layers of color.
Oh, wow.
And I was really like experimenting with realism, color, and things like that, and the floral background. And because it is a bigger piece, it definitely took me like a while.
Okay. So now I want to ask, like, would you want to see your work in like a famous art museum, or would you rather you build your own? Like, you can say you want to do both, but like, why?
I would like to do both, but I would I would like to make a space for Black female artists to get the recognition that we deserve. So yeah, like mainly a space for Black artists, either in Baltimore or in the U.S. outside of the U.S.
Okay. Would you have a name for it?
Probably Black women, but with WONYN, so it can be more inclusive.
Okay. Are there any future workings or upcoming events we should know about?
I am working on this piece. So I'm starting a series following this piece. It's kind of like a BDSM erotic series of tackling white misogyny, like I explained with this one. But it's going to have the same scroll background and then another form of bondage where he's being demasculinized and stuff like that.
Okay. So I see like each painting has like different color patterns. How important are your color patterns in your work?
I'm more of a like color visual person. I don't really like black and white. I feel like color represents emotion and stuff like that. Like you can feel color, you can vibe with color, and with things being brighter, it's much easier to see.
So for this last part of the interview, I basically have a couple questions from some Instagram followers. And the first question I'm gonna start with is from Reek JPG. He said, what motivates you to create and when is your favorite time of the day to create?
What motivates me to create is probably my experiences in life. Because a Black woman's experience is very unique to everybody else's. I feel like they're very different. And like those societies separate us purposely, we're separated because we are unique, which is a greater light. So, because a lot of people ignore those experiences, I like to broadcast them. And the favorite time of day for me to make work is probably in the morning, so that I can have the whole day to finish work and stuff.
Makes sense. One way of Wayne, he asked what made you start painting?
So like in high school when I learned how to paint and when I started painting, I was more reserved, but I had a lot of beliefs, I had a lot of things that I stood for and I didn't know how to communicate them. So like once I started painting and I could make visual representations of things, I just used that as an outlet for myself.
So was it like self-taught or did somebody, you know?
I mean, I was taking art classes. I did learn about certain techniques, but as far as learning about materials and like different styles and stuff, definitely took that from YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Big Todd asks, if you could inspire someone, what do you think would give them their spark as an artist?
Probably just to like really believe in yourself and like really go for things. Even if you don't see somebody else doing it, just be your own leader and separate yourself from everybody else. Just go for what you want, do your research, and keep the motivation to broadcast yourself.
Okay. Father Chubbs, he had two questions. The first one is, how do you stay inspired when nothing's inspirational?
I mean, music is a big part of my life, so I like to listen to music. I like to make art very personable. So if there's anything going on, I like to like draw it or whatever. So I guess my own life experiences keeps me going when I have like a creative block or something like that.
His second question is, how do you deal with the rough days?
With the rough days, I usually pray. God gets me through everything. The first thing I thank him for is waking up in the morning. So if I can wake up in the morning and come to the studio and make art, then it's a great day.
Okay. Reek Sensei asks, which piece of artwork that you made means the most to you?
Probably my self-portrait. That was my first time really, I don't want to say exposing myself, but like showing myself as who I am, not only in the body, but in the spirit. So that piece means a lot to me.
I have 4 questions from Helia Soul. Her first question is, how would you describe your work?
Very like social justice, like I don't really experiment with paintings anymore. I usually make a painting for a purpose and with a purpose. So yeah, a lot of them are based around social justice issues and stuff.
Okay. Her next question is, how do your themes of your work reflect how you see the world?
So with this one, when I said that Black women should find their own peace in themselves despite what the world gives them, I kind of feel the same way. Like, living in this world, I have to be my own peace. I have to make my own space to be happy and feel grounded. With this one, with white misogyny, as a Black woman, we're very oppressed by not only the white women, but the white male. So I think it's important to show that things can be differently, and Black women can be on top most of the time.
Our third question is, what has been the most challenging part of your artistic journey?
Probably deciding if I'm going to follow the trend or not. Because like a lot of our work right now is either conceptual or like very hyper realistic. I haven't dabbed into hyper realism yet, but I just made the decision to go my own path and do what I want to do for right now.
Okay. And her last question is there something you never thought you could do but ended up accomplishing?
Definitely the realism paintings. Like the difference between these two, I think are more realistic. I always wanted to dab into more realism type things, but it was until I got here, I was doing more simple stuff, more 2D, and now I'm doing more 3D stuff.
Are there any last remarks, any closing remarks that you want to say, any further promotions that you want to put out there before we end the interview?
If you're a Black woman and you want to do something, definitely do it. Don't worry about what people are telling you. Don't worry about the laws that are in place, all the regulations and stuff. Just be your own boss, to be honest. Rely on God for things, because He's going to get you through a lot. And if you don't see nobody else doing it, just start it yourself. Be your own idol, be your own leader, be the first to do a lot of things, because a lot of little girls are going to look up to you. So definitely be that.
Appreciate it. This is Third IT. I was just logged in with K.I.D, bro, and this is what the they doing.